Mus'ab ibn Umayr, he was a young boy, beautiful, handsome, and his parents loved him. His mother, she had a lot of wealth, so she would give him the best clothing, to allow him to wear the best of clothing. In Mecca, he had a unique smell, that if he walked by, people would say, it was Mus'ab here, the way he was taken care of. The Prophet ﷺ used to mention him. The Prophet said, I never saw, alayhi salatu wasalam, I have never seen anyone who has a better hair than him. And I've also never seen anyone who had a more better garment than him and had a better blessing than him, in Mus'ab ibn Umayr. And it reached him that the Prophet ﷺ called him to Islam, that the Prophet wanted him to become a Muslim. And he was also informed the place that the Prophet used to call the people to Islam was in Darul Arqam. So he entered and he embraced Islam and he believed in the Prophet ﷺ. When he embraced Islam, he hid his Islam from his mother and his people. He used to always go to the Prophet ﷺ privately. Uthman ibn Talha saw him. He saw him praying one day and he told his mom and his people, and they grabbed him and they imprisoned him. And he remained imprisoned until he went to Abyssinia the first time. And then he returned with the believers. When they returned, he came back changed. The Mus'ab that came from Ardu Habasha was different. He wasn't glamorous. He wasn't in any way, shape or form. One day, Rahman ibn radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was served good food and he pushed it. I don't want to eat this food. He said, why? He said, I remember Mus'ab ibn Umayr, my brother. So what do you remember of him? And he described how Mus'ab ibn Umayr used to be financially, how wealthy he was. And you guys know when he died, how he became? They weren't able to find enough shroud to cover his body when he was in his grave. So the narrators, they asked Rahman ibn Auf, how was he shrouded? If they covered his legs, his upper body would show. And if they covered his upper body, his bottom parts of his body would show. Rahman ibn Auf then said, he pushed away the food and he said, how can I eat? When Mus'ab ibn Umayr was a person in Mecca, I described to you how wealthy he was, how much money he had. The minute he took Islam, he pushed all of that aside. So when he died, he did not have any shroud. There was only one piece. Whenever they cover his legs, his upper body would show. And whenever he covers his upper body, his bottom body would show. So they said, how did they cover him? The remaining, they used grass to just cover him with it. So they grabbed the ashab of the ard. They used that to cover him. Brothers, Sahabas radiallahu anhum, they took the concept of a tadhiyah, to leave everything for Allah's sake, for this deen. That's why when Allah tabarak wa ta'ala chose Nabi Muhammad, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, and he said, Inna Allah nadhara ila qulubil ibad. Allah looked at the people's hearts. And no one's heart was good enough to be a prophet except Nabi Muhammad. And that's why Allah chose him. Then Allah looked at the remaining other people's hearts. Who is the good people who should be around this good man, Nabi Muhammad? And then they were the best of people. And that's why Allah put them, subhanahu wa ta'ala, around the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They're the best. Their hearts was something else.